Yeah. From the sandlots to the spotlight. From the Negro leagues to the big leagues. This ain't just baseball. This history. This culture. This is stolen bases. Yeah. Save at first, safe at second.
What's good, family? Welcome to the Stolen Bases podcast, where the stories are rich, the history runs deep, and the culture always has a seat at the table, y'all. We're here to celebrate the past, challenge the present, and inspire the future of Black baseball. So whether you're a lifelong fan or just discovering this beautiful game of baseball for the first time, grab your glove and pull up a chair, because around here we're still in way more than just bases. We're reclaiming history. Let's get into it. Yo, I'm your host, Coach Trey Everett, and I'm always glad to be joined by my co-host, my high school classmate, my friend, my boy for 30 plus years, Johnny King III. Say what's up to the people, my brother.
What's up? What's up? Thank y'all for watching and tuning in to episode 4 of the Stolen Bases podcast. It's going to be a fun ride. Let's get it. I'm ready to roll.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is going to be a good one, man, because since it's summertime, and so we know what the summertime brings, just good memories, barbecues, summer break, as a kid, you're out of school, so you're playing outside all day. You may grab a couple homies, y'all head down to the field and, get you a game of strikeout in or something like that, man. So it's a lot to get into in the summer, and, just those good summertime memories, man. So we're going to be a little bit nostalgic in our baseball memories today, man. So I'm excited to get into it. But before we get into it, of course, you may see a different background behind me. That's because I'm not home. I am currently in our nation's capital here in Washington, D.C. for the week, having a great time, in spite of, the division in this country, still having a great time because, bro, there's still a lot of chocolate in Chocolate City. Don't you believe what they're saying about all the gentrification? Now, there is some gentrification happening, but there's still a lot of chocolate in Chocolate City. That's for sure. Yeah, man. But one thing that I saw yesterday while I was walking around the city, man, I saw, and it just goes right along with what we're doing with this podcast. I saw a group of kids, black kids, in an empty lot playing strikeout.
What?
Man,
Like not on a team, not baseball uniform, just random
I'm talking
kids.
about just some neighborhood kids in the hood, and they just met up in a abandoned lot, and they had a ball. I don't think it was like a real baseball. It might have been like a wiffle ball, or it wasn't a tennis ball, but it wasn't a baseball either. But so they had a ball, and they had a plastic bat, and they were playing strikeout, man, and I loved it. It wasn't baseball because nobody was running bases. You hit it and you talk smack.
That's it. Hit and toss smack, or catch it and toss smack. One of the two.
Man.
If I catch your ball, bruh, give me the bat. You out.
It was a beautiful thing to see, man.
I know it took you back to your childhood memories, man.
Man, it took me back because that's how we grew up, and that's how we developed a love for the game, man. It's just seeing that's still happening. It may not happen everywhere, and it's not as prevalent as it was when we were growing up, but just to see it, man. I'm trying to rush and get to a meeting, man. And it's it's hot in DC this week. It's over 100 degrees here and humid, and so I'm just sweating like crazy. I'm just trying to be in a rush to get back into some AC. But man, when I saw that, I just had to stop and look for a moment. I just had to stop and watch them. Not to say, because they were young, so still a little bit uncoordinated in their swing, and the throwing, maybe not was accurate, but just to see them out there, man, in a time where most of our kids, we talk about it, kids don't go outside like that no more. They're not playing at the neighborhood parks. They talking smack to each other, playing Call of Duty or something.
Online, yeah, for real.
Online, yeah. So everybody's in the house, man. So that was just a beautiful sight to see, man. And I look forward to seeing more of that in the future, man, because it's just it sparked this nostalgia, so that it really motivated me to want to talk about this in this episode a bit more, man. So I don't know who those young boys were, but shout out to them. It was a beautiful sight to see, man. And
Yeah,
so
man.
yeah, so with seeing that, man, just how does what if you were there, man? What memories would that bring back for you?
Man, definitely, being a kid in the neighborhood, playing whether it's in the front yard, in the middle of the street,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, strikeout. We wasn't no bases. We didn't have a way to run bases. We didn't have a big enough space or area. So it was
Yeah.
about I'm striking you out, or I'm gonna hit it, or I'm gonna catch it. That's the three options you got. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
because you
saying?
swing it
Either,
until you get me out.
yeah, that's real. That's real. You either got to strike me out on three pitches,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm gonna hit the ball, and every time I hit it safely, I get it. Starting all over again. You
I'm
got to strike
starting
me out
all
on three
over.
pitches, or you're gonna have to catch it when I hit it
Mm-hmm.
in the air or something. Like
Yep.
that's what I remember, man. It was so fun. I remember just falling in the bushes trying to rob somebody's home run, that kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
talking majors, man, give me the bat, rob you, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I
So
I
that's what it,
remember,
that's probably
man.
what it went through my head if I seen that.
Yeah, for sure, man. It just I remember the same things, man. Like you get some of those, we grew up with some great hitters in Vallejo, and you get
Mhm.
some of them cats up there, and they gonna be up to bat all day because you can't strike them out.
Exactly. If
You
they know how to hit, they know how to place their hits,
right,
everything at a young
man. We
age.
didn't have no pitch count. But, we didn't have no pitch limit. Oh, you had 100 pitches. Oh, it's time to take you out. No,
Hey,
we out there throwing 500 pitches.
man, be mad. Be like, man, I'm tired of playing, man. I ain't gonna never get to bat.
Right.
You
Man,
start
so
changing the
man.
rules as a pitcher. All right, man, you
Yeah,
only got two pitches now, man. If you don't hit one of these two pitches, it's my turn.
right. Man, yeah, that's a good memories, man. And I don't even think that's just a Vallejo thing. I'm pretty sure some of our listeners, wherever they were raised, they got some of the same memories of playing strikeout, and the smack talk was on another level. Jordan
Crazy.
didn't have nothing on the type of smack that
Nah,
was
bro.
talking a strikeout game.
Nah, bro. It was no holds barred, man. I mean, you talk about people mama and strikeout. Everything went, man. Just it
Yeah,
was it
man.
was within the confines of the game of strikeout. We kept it friendly. We kept it, cordial to that degree of like we wasn't gonna really get into fights behind it, but we was talking smack.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man. Well, it's something just came across my phone, man. And so, for those of you watching, we had to re-record. We experienced some technical difficulties, so you catch a part two, but we're going to bring the same energy
For sure.
nonetheless. But since we're talking about strikeout and the smack talking, and I saw this story come up. I think we got to talk about it. And I don't know if you saw this, but Cade Cavalli, he's a pitcher for the Washington Nationals. Coincidentally, I'm in Washington D.C. right now.
Mhm.
They're on the road because I was gonna go to a Nationals game, but I end up going over to Baltimore to an Orioles game, and I'm gonna get into that in just a moment. But Cade Cavalli is a pitcher for the Washington Nationals, and they were up in Boston playing the Red Sox, and a guy, the batter's name was Wilson Contreras. Of
Mhm.
course, with the last name Contreras, you could probably tell that he's a Latin player. However,
Mhm.
looking at him, he's a brown skinned Latin player. We
Obvious.
we can call him Afro Latino.
Right.
Let's call it what it is.
Oh yeah.
He's black in the eyes
He's
of
black.
most of the world. He's black. He
Yep.
just may not be from America. So Kay Cavalli struck out Wilson Contreras, and when he struck him out, and we know this by playing strikeout. And he not even playing strikeout, playing on in some of the local leagues, and you pitching against one of your classmates on Saturday, so if you strike them out on Monday, you got opportunity to talk smack, at
Mhm.
school on Monday, and so you strike out somebody and you might say something like, get out of here, or go sit down, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cade Cavalli struck out Wilson Contreras and told him to sit down, boy. Now, if you don't know, Cade Cavalli is a white guy. And to say that word boy to a person of color, to a brown skinned person, to an Afro Latino person, to a black person, that comes with a lot. That comes with a whole lot, way more than I don't know. I'm trying to give him, the benefit of the doubt. Kay Cavalli, is probably a young cat, probably in his 20s or whatever, so probably doesn't understand the magnitude of calling someone. But I'm pretty sure somewhere along the lines he knew that was the wrong term to use when it comes to speaking to a person of color. And so I wasn't watching the game, but later that night I saw the highlights. And so as soon as he said it, I saw how Wilson Contreras responded, like, what, you talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to be a black American to understand what that means when you call somebody boy.
Right.
And so clearly with Wilson Contreras, he probably had experienced that or witnessed it, or somebody in his family. So he understood the magnitude and the harm that comes from using that term. And so, of course, somebody called, white person called me boy. I'm probably coming at you the same way. You talking to me, and all of a sudden, he started charging the mound, benches clear on both sides. Just a bunch of madness. And so afterwards, man, because I started, really going down the rabbit hole, man. And Cade Cavalli's original response was, kind of like, that's not what I meant. Just the heat of the moment. If people took it the wrong way, that's on them. And then the Nationals front office come out and say, yeah, we talked about it with Cade, and he'll do better next time. So they're really just sweeping it under the rug, man. But as for you, man, if for one, to see it, but to have that experience. And we talked about how we experience discrimination and racism sometimes within the confines of baseball. But how did that make you feel to see that at the major league level?
It was very disturbing for me. You sent me that clip, but I actually saw it the night before. I actually saw it last night. And I didn't see the game. I saw someone else posted about it and had their own commentary about it. But that man happened to be a white man that was posting about it, and how egregious he saw it.
Yeah.
His position on it was that it's long been understood that that term boy is derogatory to to anyone, any man, and people of color. And so, but outside of his response, it reminded me of just some moments on the baseball field that I had in the past where I knew that I was being discriminated against, either by the umpire or by the pitcher and catcher combination that I was facing, or by the first baseman I'm standing on first base with. I could tell by how they tag me extra aggressively when they throw back to first base.
Yeah.
How close they trying to stand and talk smack to my teammates out loud, but like right next to me. So they, try to get in my head, those kind of things. It took me back to that. But to say the word boy to any grown man, no matter who says it, especially though if it comes out of the mouth of a white man to a colored player.
Yeah.
Even in a white culture, when a white man says boy, he's usually talking to a younger, inferior person, even if it's of the same race.
Facts.
So when a white man calls a younger boy, he means business. That means, boy, don't you, I'm gonna show you
Mm-hmm.
something, kind of
Yep.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the tone that we receive it in every time we hear that,
Every time.
every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if you was born in America or not. I guarantee you, Wilson Contreras was not born in America,
Mm-hmm.
and yet that it took the same connotation to him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And at this stage, maybe Caden Cavalli, maybe he's ignorant to that term, or to to how that term hits people.
Yeah.
But he said it with the intent to hit Wilson Contreras, not with the
Yeah.
ball physically, but he said it aggressively. He looked
Yes.
at him. He
Mm-hmm.
walked off the mound toward him when Wilson said, "You looking at me?" He
Mm-hmm.
he didn't retract what he was saying at all.
Right.
Maybe after the fact he did, but in that
Mm-hmm.
moment he was like, "Yeah, I'm talking to you," kind of situation.
Yeah. Right.
That is, for the Nationals to brush that off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, it's reflective of where they are. They are
Yeah.
in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
They are at the seat of one of the most corrupt places in this country right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
and one of the most racially, I'm just gonna say it, ignorant
Mm-hmm.
places in the country right now. The
Yeah.
most racially absolved places in the country.
Especially this week while I'm here with America 250
Fourth of
going
July
on and
250
this
celebration. I mean, come on, like
state fair
I,
thing that they got going on.
I'm gonna let you get into it, man. I was angered by it for sure. I was
Yeah, me too.
frustrated for Wilson Contreras, because he's not even American black like I am,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I relate exactly to where he
Mm-hmm.
felt. I would have did the
Yes.
exact same thing. I probably would have had the exact same response.
Mm-hmm. Same here, man. And I'm hoping that, one, I didn't look at, Kay Cavalli's bio, so I don't know his age, but I'm assuming he's in his 20s, because he's in the major leagues, and most of the players, average age is around 26, 27. So I'm assuming that he's in the 20s. So he definitely wasn't likely raised during, some of the most intense, civil rights, racial, discrimination type of eras or anything like that. However, the past 10 years or so, a lot of that has been rehashed. And for anybody watching, who may not understand the harm that's in that word boy, like he just said boy, we were all boys at one time. But when a
Word.
white person says that to a person of color, it means something different because it goes back, hundreds of years ago, all the way back to even to 1619, when the first African were brought to this land as slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And the slave masters didn't see these men as men. They didn't see them as whole human beings. And so they wouldn't call them by their name. And in many situations, they stripped their names from them. And they were just all called boy. Hey, boy, come here. Go plow that field, boy. So there's this superiority in when that word is used upon a person of color. And so generations have passed since then, but yet that word was still used even after slavery ended. We saw during the Jim Crow era that word boy was still used. It was used during the lunch counter protest in the South. It was used when people would enter a white only space. What are you doing here, boy? Get out, boy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure Emmett Till, God rest his soul, but I'm pretty sure during the time that he was lynched, I'm pretty sure before he breathed his last breath, those who lynched him, he probably heard them say boy.
I
I'm
guarantee
pretty sure one time or another, or many times or another, as you know, Martin Luther King sat in jails or faced opposition from police or whatever. I'm pretty sure there were many times that he was called boy.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of harm, in that word. So I'm glad, though, and like I said, I want to give Kay Cavalli's an opportunity and some grace, to learn from this. It sounds like as another day went by, somebody got in his ear. I don't know if I wouldn't think that it was the Nationals front office, because they tried to their response was was milk toast.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping that maybe he did some self reflection, or just somebody got into his ear. I know there's a couple Black players on the Nationals, and of course there are some Afro Latino players on the Nationals. Maybe he had a talk with his teammates or whatever. All the details haven't come out, but I do have his most recent response to what happened. This is Kay Cavalli's words as of this morning. He said, "I am extremely torn up about the way things were perceived. It hurt my heart knowing that if there is a 13-year-old Black kid in DC that looks up to me, thinks that he perceived it in a way that wasn't intended, and then he's not looking up to me anymore." So it sounds like he's a little bit more contrite, but at the same time, I'm still calling a little bit of cap on this, because one ain't no 13-year-old Black kid looking up to you. Stop the cap.
Man, you said it. I was thinking it like, what? Okay, maybe there is, but
I'm pretty sure he didn't write this response.
Oh my goodness. Okay, see it. Yeah, now we on the same.
Nice
page.
try.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But ain't no 13-year-old Black kid looking up to you in DC.
No,
Nah, bro.
I don't. Not when there's other Black players on the team that they see more often. You're a pitcher; they see you every 5 days, or maybe but they'll see that batter every time, 3 or 4 times a game.
Yeah,
You
but and not only that, man, it's they can't see themselves in you, Kay Cavalli.
that part.
They can't see themselves being where you are. They would see themselves being where you are, or looking up to you, if you were the likes of a CC Sabathia on the mound, if you were a Dontrell Willis on the mound, one of them cats. They could see themselves, or being up to bat if it was somebody who looks like them. So they just can't see themselves in you. They may recognize who you are. If they're a Washington Nationals fan, or if they've been to a game and you were on the mound, they would cheer for you. But as far as looking up to you, nah. I'm not saying that a Black kid couldn't look up to a white player. That is not what I'm saying. But when stuff like this happens, and you're using that word boy, it's clear that you have no connection to Black culture. It's clear that you have no connection to 13-year-old Black boys and how they move and navigate through this world. So that's why I call cap on this response. Because if you had that connection, if you were truly cognizant of a 13-year-old Black kid looking up to you, that word boy would have never came out of your mouth in the first place.
Would have never came, my man. That's a dope take. Yes, I like how you look deeper into it for sure. To that response, I didn't immediately see it that way or hear it that way, but yes, for sure. I can't. Well, I heard. I guess I did hear it. I couldn't translate it the way you translated it so quickly, because immediately I'm thinking, what 13-year-old Black boy is looking up to you? Like. And you made a point. It's not like a Black kid can't look up to a white player. When we were younger, there was a lot of white players we loved. Man, I loved Will Clark. I love Matt Williams. I love Joel Youngblood. I love certain pitchers. Oral Hershiser, and he was a Dodger, but I love Oral Hershiser. You know what I'm saying? Like, Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson. Like I can name
Mm-hmm.
as many white players as I can, black players that I looked up
List
to.
is endless. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't see myself in those white players.
Right.
I just saw them
Right.
as great athletes. I saw
Mm-hmm.
myself in Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., Jimmy Rollins,
Mm-hmm.
Eric Davis. I saw
Yes.
myself in Kevin Mitch. I saw myself in those players.
Right.
If they could do it, I
Exactly.
could do it. I never looked and said, if Will Clark can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love Will Clark, but I never looked at him and said, if he can do it, I can do it. But I did look at
Right.
myself and said, if Griffey can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
Bonds can do it, I can do it.
There's a cultural connection there, man. And that just doesn't go for baseball. I remember watching golf pre Tiger Woods. And I would
Mm-hmm.
see, just a bunch of white guys on the course and thinking to myself, wow, they're good, but I can't see myself playing that sport.
Yeah.
But then Tiger Woods come along now. Tiger Woods got his issues, especially with the culture now. But once we saw that brown kid pick
Yep.
up that club and start winning like instantly,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden I could see myself playing this game now. And now I love playing the game of golf because I saw myself represented. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's, and
Same
that's
thing
why,
happened with same thing happened with tennis.
tennis.
With
Yes.
tennis, even though there was Arthur Ashe, but
Mm-hmm.
most of us didn't grow up seeing Arthur Ashe
Right.
play. Tennis wasn't even
Mm-hmm.
a broad sport back
Mm-hmm.
then when Arthur Ashe was at his greatest. So our introduction to tennis was two black females, Venus and
Yes.
Serena.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can be great at
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah.
I saw myself in Venus and Serena, even though I never really
Mm-hmm.
desired to play tennis. But my younger brother is a tennis pro
Yeah.
in Vacaville, California. I guarantee
Yeah.
you he was inspired by Venus and Serena. You know what I'm
Indeed.
saying?
And think about what that did for black girls.
Mm-hmm.
To see these two sisters with braids and beads in hair, because that's was the times back then, and so they playing with braids and beads in their hair, just being unapologetically black. And now we see the result of them. Now we have a Naomi Osaka because she was
Mm-hmm.
inspired by the Williams sisters. We have a Coco Gauff who was inspired
Mm-hmm.
by the Williams sisters. We have a Taylor Townsend who was
Mm-hmm.
inspired by and we have a few more young sisters who are playing professional tennis on a high level, who are playing right now at Wimbledon because of
Mm-hmm.
what they saw, maybe 15 years ago in Venus, 15, maybe even 20 years ago in
Mm-hmm.
Venus and Serena. So yeah, that goes across, any sport, any industry. When we see ourselves in those places, it makes it more realistic that we could eventually be there ourselves. So, in the end, I hope that this is a learning lesson for Kay Cavalli. I hope this is a learning lesson for the Washington Nationals. I hope this is a learning lesson for white players. I hope this is a learning lesson for America as a whole. It's yet to be determined, but we we shall see, man. But I think I just had to bring that up, especially as we were talking about, how we could talk, smack on the field, but when it gets disrespectful,
Mm-hmm.
to the point to where we're missing out on just talking about, oh, you weak, talk about your skills, but when you
Yeah.
talk about who you are as a human being and
Yeah.
diminishing that's when it goes a little bit too
You drew
far,
the line.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
But yeah, man. So
you crossed the line.
go ahead.
No, I'm saying you crossed the line, man, and those fans
Yeah,
feel it too. Any fans that was in the stands that heard it, that was
yeah,
of color, again, how you think they feel, and they not probably accepting
absolutely.
that apology so quickly because they
No,
heard it, they seen it.
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure most of black culture cannot accept that apology so quickly. You can't just say it. You got to show us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll see. What he does and how he navigates the world from here on out, man. So,
Mm-hmm.
but we want to just switch gears right now, and just kind of make things a little bit lighter now. I know that was a little bit of a heavy, hard conversation, but like I
It just
always say,
happened.
It happened, and hard conversations bring healing, man. We can't get to a place of healing, a place of unity and understanding without having these hard conversations. So we're
Mhm.
going to have these here on the Stolen Bases podcast. But
Got
just to
to.
lighten the mood a little bit, man. Like I said, I'm in the DMV area this week. Spent a lot of time in Washington D.C. But like I said, the Nationals were on the road this week, so I couldn't take in a Nationals game. So I went up the road 30, 40 minutes up to Baltimore, B-more, also called Brick City,
Brick City.
Charm City, and went into Baltimore, man, and went to an Orioles game, man, and what an experience, man!
Wow. I can
I
only
loved it.
imagine. I can only imagine. The day at the park ain't nothing like a day at the park, bro.
Yeah, man, ain't nothing like it. First of all, just a day at the park at any stadium, is always welcome. But to
Mhm.
go to an iconic, even though Camden Yards isn't as old as say like a Wrigley Field or Fenway Park, but the way they built that stadium makes it feel older than what it is.
Mhm.
Like it is an iconic ballpark. Yeah, that ballpark is likely maybe around maybe 30 plus years old. I can
Oh,
remember
yeah.
when it opened, I was a teenager, when it was open. So it's probably like maybe
Mhm.
30, 35 years old, but it's the way they built that stadium into that downtown area. Like I said, they call it Brick City because
Mhm.
they have skyscrapers made of bricks. It's a
Mhm.
lot of
Yeah.
brick in that city. And so to make sure that stadium blended in, like this historic warehouse building, that we always see, that iconic building in right field, and we've seen some monstrous home runs bounce off of
Mhm.
that building.
Mhm.
And when Cal Ripken broke the most consecutive games record, they had the numbers showing up on that building. So it's just a
Yeah.
iconic building. They could have torn that down to build the stadium, but they left it standing because it really showed you know the atmosphere, the style, and the aesthetic of that area. So they kept that building and built around it, and the stadium blends so well with that, and it's just an awesome experience from beginning to end. How much fun they have outside of the stadium. They have music playing, they have live bands. It's almost like what we talked about in our first episode, where in the Negro leagues, where there was a parade coming through town
Mhm.
when the Negro League was happening, and then after the game there was this big after party, people cooking out. It was
Mhm.
almost that type of atmosphere at Camden Yards. So man, I had such an amazing time. So shout out to the Baltimore Orioles, Camden Yards. Y'all really got something. Y'all just set the standard. Y'all raised the bar for me when it comes to Major League Baseball experiences. I won't forget this, and I'm going to, as I visit other stadiums, I'm going to compare my experience at those stadiums with my experience at Camden Yards, because y'all raised the bar so high, and the level of service, man. Like the ushers, the security, none of them. Sometimes you go some places and the ushers and the security, they could be, let's just say, they could be assholes,
Mhm. Mhm.
and just be overbearing, like top flight security almost.
Top flight.
Right, top flight. But man,
Man, that's
I
funny.
mean, they were so welcoming, man, and understand. Like going through security, I had accidentally left my wallet in my pocket, because they tell you to take everything out of your pockets, but accidentally left my wallet in my pocket, and they were just so understanding about it. They're like, "Oh, it's probably just your wallet. Just pull it out so we can wind you real quick." Not talking aggressively, and then to
Mhm.
get to into the stadium, the usher checks your ticket so they could actually usher you to your seat. And get this, when I got to my seat, the usher took out a rag out of his back pocket and wiped the seat before you sat down. That's
That's
service.
crazy. Yeah, that's service, bro. That's service, man. Like how, I never been to a stadium where that happened. The
Yeah.
stadium, if you think about it, for the average person who's maybe never been to a baseball game, those seats are just sitting out there in the open. So
Mm-hmm.
dirt, dust, pollen,
Yeah.
whatever, maybe some
Mm-hmm.
from the spill from the last person that sat there.
Yeah.
So for them to come and wipe your seat down before you sit
Mm-hmm.
down shows that they really appreciate you being
Yeah.
there. They want you
Yeah.
to be comfortable. They want you to enjoy your time, and they want you to feel like we want you here. That's
Mm-hmm.
dope. I never seen that or experienced that at a baseball stadium. That's dope.
Yeah, man. I thought, man, that this was I was sitting in a VIP area, something like that, but they were like, "No, we do this for everybody." I was
That's
like, "That's
fresh,
dope.
man.
That's
Yeah,
fresh,
yeah.
man."
Shout out
And
to the
so,
DMV. Shout out to the Orioles,
yes,
man. Shout out to
shout out
Cal
to the
Ripken
Orioles.
Jr., man.
Man, I was
We
just
just
about to say that, man. As we were talking about, being able to also idolize, white players. Cal Ripken
exactly.
Jr.
Yeah.
He was
Man,
that dude.
Cal Ripken was he was an Iron Man. Like to me,
Truly.
like what I got from him when they say, the most consecutive games played, I was, you know, you can see yourself in certain aspects of certain people. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see myself through Cal Ripken, but what
Mm-hmm.
I saw is if I can't be the biggest, I can't be the best power hitter. I
Mm-hmm.
can't be the fastest base stealer. I can't be the fastest pitcher or anything like that. But one thing I can do is show up for every game and make sure
Yes.
my body's in the best condition to be here for every game. That kind
Yes.
of mentality carried me throughout my life, throughout my career, and everything
Mm-hmm.
I've done. Just show up, just
Just
show
show
up,
up.
just show
Yeah.
up, and try to, even if you're not feeling well, try to fight through the feelings and get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, I haven't always been perfect at that, but there's been times in my life where Cal Ripken is like, one of those people I know that I looked up to for that
Yes,
reason
indeed.
growing up, and that's kind of imparted into me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. Being left-handed, I knew that, I would never be a shortstop. So I couldn't, really like look at Cal as, someone that I could emulate my game after.
Hmm.
But it was who he was as a leader. He showed so much leadership because, he's the vet on the team.
Hmm.
And so while other players are, complaining about playing time, they're complaining about their contract, they may have a sore pinky finger, or I can't play tonight, my hand hurt.
Hmm.
Best believe that there were many times over Cal's career
Heck
that
yeah.
he was dealing with an injury. His
Hmm.
body was hurting. It's probably hard getting out of bed the next day, but he
Hmm.
chose to still show up. And
Yeah.
so that sends a message to whether you're a baseball fan, a baseball player, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It sends a message that you just got to continue to show up. If
Hmm.
you continue to show up, good things happen. Yeah, you may strike out. Yeah, you may go 0 for 4 one night, but just keep showing up, show that level of consistency, and it pays off time and time again. So for any young person that's watching, use that as an example, just to keep showing up.
Hmm.
Whatever you're doing, whether you're in school right now, and you may hate school, keep showing up. You may not like your job, keep showing up till a better opportunity arrives, because it's
Hmm.
going to come as long as you keep showing up. So in Cal Ripken, I see lessons on work ethic.
Yep.
In,
Yep.
in a time where a lot of us, we don't want to put in the work.
Hmm.
And Cal Ripken, by him, being that Iron Man that he was, man, it really, and at a time when I was a young kid, still learning the game of baseball, watching him, show up every day. That really meant a lot to me, man. So
Yeah.
he's always been, one a player that I admired. Um, One of those big shortstops, because Cal was,
Hmm.
well over 6 feet. I think he was like 6'3".
Yeah.
So
He's a
he was
big
one of those.
dude.
Yeah, he was a big dude. So he's one of those big shortstops, man. And was an amazing shortstop, man. And one memory that I always will remember with Cal, later on in his career, they moved him to third base because you get older and he's now in your 40s. You don't move as fast, and you got to be agile playing shortstop, because you got to cover a wide a wide range. You got to be ready for those double plays and stuff, for people sliding into you and that kind of stuff. So as he
Hmm.
got older, they moved him to third base, the hot corner. And actually, this goes into what we're going to be talking about a little bit more in just a moment. I remember that All-Star game when he was voted in, to play in his final All-Star game. And Alex Rodriguez at that time was a shortstop, and Alex Rodriguez was voted in as the shortstop.
Yeah.
Alex Rodriguez waved to Cal like, "No, you starting this game as shortstop."
Yeah,
because this is your position. This is where your career started, and for majority of your career, and for all the previous All-Star games, you were the American League starting shortstop. So as an honor to you, as a show of respect to you, as showing you your flowers, no, we switching positions. I'm playing third. And you could watch that interaction. Like Cal didn't know what was going on, but matter of fact, excuse me, Alex was mic'd up.
Yeah,
Alex was mic'd up, and you could hear Alex saying, "No, I'm going to play third. You're going to play shortstop." And Cal was like, "No, it's all good. It's all good." But that was just dope how, Alex pushed him over to shortstop, man, so that he could finish his All-Star career at the position of shortstop. So, yeah, shout out to Cal Ripken, man. He's one of the greats.
Man, consistent dedication, consistency, commitment, all of those things, man. Yeah, he definitely one of those greats. He may not be talked about in the GOAT conversation, but in folklore greatness, which to me still has carries a lot of weight in the sport of baseball, Cal Ripken is definitely up there for sure.
Oh, for sure, no question, man. So shout out to him, shout out to the Orioles. And just one more thing, about my experience with the Orioles, man. During the game, man, this young kid, and it just goes along the lines again of why we're here doing this podcast. This young black kid, man, sitting in my section, watching the game, and the 7th inning stretch comes along, and he just out of the blue runs down to the front row, right at field level, and he faces the crowd and he says, "Excuse me, may I have your attention, please? We are going to start the wave, and I want everyone to join in. We're going to start from my right and go to the left. I want you on the count of 3. Let's start the wave." And he did it on the count of 3. And the first couple times, it probably went, maybe 2 sections, then maybe finally a third section, joined in. And so about the 4th or 5th time, that thing started making its way around the stadium. And so instead of me watching the wave go around the stadium, I'm watching this young black kid. He was no more than about maybe 11 years old. I'm just watching him, watch this wave go around the stadium. And when it made a full lap around the stadium, you saw the clip I posted, and I'll make sure to put the full video on our social media. But when that thing made a full lap, this kid he jumped so high, he jumped for joy, and was just so happy, man. He started clapping, man. And honestly, bro, I teared up. Because I saw myself, 40 years ago in this kid. Like that type of joy and love for the game, and and that sense of accomplishment, and truly, like I said to you off the show, that was black boy joy on full display. Like none other, man. It was beautiful to see, man. It had me emotional. It just brought up so many memories, of my childhood. It's such a beautiful sight to see, man.
Man, I'm sitting here envisioning it, and like when you sent me the clip, I saw him being excited, but I didn't know that it was because he had started the wave. So hearing you tell that story, that's kind of why I leaned in. I was like, wait, what? Because, man, I can only imagine starting as a kid, as a black kid. And I don't guarantee you it wasn't that many black people there sitting there around.
No, it wasn't.
So for a black kid to get up and to have the courage to say, hey, we getting ready to do this. Let's go. And to watch it happen. And I did see the part of the clip where he was jumping up and like in celebration, like complete, like just utter joy. Like, man, it worked. I did it.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the confidence of that young man, man. Like
Yes.
his confidence is probably going to skyrocket for the rest of.
Skyrocket.
How many people was there? Like 20, 30,000, 40,000 people,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he got most of them from where he was standing
Mm-hmm.
to follow along his program. Like in his mind, I could only imagine being a little kid myself. First of all, I probably wouldn't even have the courage to do that. But, seeing him do it, I can imagine that he probably is just thinking like, if I could get 10, 15, 20,000 people to stand up and do the
Yeah.
way multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
man, there's no limit to what I can do.
No limit to what I can do. If I could do this, I could do anything.
And these people don't even look like me.
No. And that's what I loved about it, is that, like you said, it was a majority white crowd at that game. And to see, these white fans look at this black kid with a sense of beauty and not in a sense of he's a threat.
Yeah.
That's what I love most, because it gave people a different perspective of young black boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard, a white family behind me saying, "Oh, he's so cute. Oh, that's so wonderful." It's such a beautiful thing to see. And then another white man sitting in front of me, was so entertained and just so happy to see, what this young man had did. He had, when the wave was over and the boy was jumping and cheering and so proud of what he did, this white man stepped over several people in his row just so that he could get to the aisle and give that young man a high five. And so, man, it was such a beautiful thing to see, man. And so I'm going to post a video soon. By the time this episode launches, the video will be out. And, it'd be, definitely, for my folks in Baltimore. But I'll say it here as well. If anybody knows who that kid is, please have his parents get in touch with us here at the Stolen Bases podcast. I'm putting out the invitation now that I would love to have that kid as a guest on the Stolen Bases podcast. Yeah. I would love to talk to him and just talk about his love for the game, what that experience was like for him, and how he began a love for baseball, because you could truly see his love for the game. I don't know if he plays the game, but he loved being in that moment. And that's what attending a game, and I hope Major League Baseball does a better job of this, of making sure that the game is accessible to everyone, no matter your background, no matter your income level, your social status, making sure that families can afford to attend a baseball game and have that experience. It doesn't mean that every kid is going to go out and play the game, but a lot of us just like going, just like attending the game. There are people in my family never picked up a ball or a bat, but I love going to a game.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of people in my family like that.
It's like, some of us have never played basketball or never played football, not formally,
right.
In organized fashion, but we love watching it and going to the, going to
love
the stadiums, love it. So yes, maybe black boys or black children enjoying the sport of baseball can be possible if there's more exposure to opportunities like that, man. And to, we got to get that clip, definitely post that clip and try to get that running. A lot people need to see the joy of a black kid at a Major League Baseball game, because the combination of a black kid at a Major League Baseball game is very rarely ever seen. Yeah, even when they show national games on TV and they're panning throughout the stadium, very rarely do you see a young black kid sitting there. You might see a couple of black adults, but very rarely do you see a young black kid in the stand. So that's dope, man.
It is dope, man. So again, one last shout out to the Baltimore Orioles at Camden Yards for just a great experience. And I just want to take a pause right here to also shout out and thank the Stolen Bases squad. That's what we're going to call you. You're not followers, you're not subscribers, you're not viewers or listeners. You're part of this squad. Maybe
squad.
some of us have experienced being cut. I know what that feels like, be cut from a team. But
Yes,
on
sir.
this squad right here, you made the cut because you're watching us right now, and a lot of you have hit that subscribe button. And if you have not hit that subscribe button, make sure that if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below, and give us a subscribe and follow us. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, or however you listen, even iHeartRadio. Yo, we are now on iHeartRadio now as well.
Everywhere like air.
Hey, we
Everywhere like
everywhere.
air, man. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes,
Join the
sir.
squad. Like I said, nobody gets cut from this squad. And we
Nobody
let
gets
you in on
cut.
the conversation. Come on. We want you. We want you. We want you. Let's go.
Absolutely. So no matter where you're watching, no matter where you're viewing, hit that subscribe button so that you will be always updated when the next Stolen Bases podcast release. And so also that we know who's on the squad with us, man. So, and I want to also it's a giveaway time. We've never done this before, but I got a little giveaway thanks to the Baltimore Orioles. So I have a giveaway. Let me get it right here.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We got a little
coming
giveaway.
up and
So
we got giveaways now.
we got some brims. What? We got some caps going. So I got this new era Baltimore Orioles cap. This is a great one for like my golfers out there. It got the adjustable on the back. But this Baltimore Orioles cap. So we're going to give this one away, but also the creme de la creme. Yeah, we got that city edition right here. That new era city edition for Baltimore. This is the one that they wear on during their city edition nights. The Nike city edition cap.
Hard.
That's a dope hat, man. That's a dope cap, man.
I love that.
And check out the back. Fresh. Check out the back. You got that Be More on it.
Be More, Brick City.
Be More.
That fresh, man, with the little Oreo, man. That's dope.
Yeah, man.
That's dope. What size is it, though?
Man,
it's fitted,
it's
right?
It's fitted. It's fitted.
Oh,
it's
one adjustable.
Yeah.
Man, come on. Come on now. That's my favorite type of cap right there.
Yes, indeed, man. So we're gonna give these two caps away. Now you can enter the drawing for one of these two caps solely by liking and subscribing to the Stolen Bases podcast, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on your favorite podcasting platform. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and also you post some type of content, whether it's a Facebook post, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Make a post on the Stolen Bases podcast. Our theme music is on all social media platforms, so you can use our background music as well, because you already know we got the best theme song in the land. So,
hey man, we got a theme song, we got a contest, we got giveaways.
Man,
we are building the squad. Man. Look, so join, like, subscribe, share, post, comment, hashtag Stolen Bases Podcast. Add the Stolen Bases Podcast theme song to your post. You don't have to, but if you do, man, that's kudos. We know for sure that you know for sure that your name is gonna get acknowledged when you do that, man. Shout out to everyone on the squad. We want the squad to be built up. Nobody gets cut. Y'all go come on, man. We got two dope caps. One of them is for like a golf cap, but I will rock both of those caps. They dope. Yeah, but that B, bro, oh my God. Hey, I promise you, if y'all don't tap in and put your name in the hat, no pun intended, if you see me rocking it, it's because y'all didn't do your job.
Yes, indeed.
Get on your job. Come on now. Come on. Free opportunity, man. We showing love. We showing love. Shout out to Brick City, man.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So make sure y'all do that, like and subscribe, and post your content. Tag us in it on Instagram and Facebook. We're there at Stolen Bases Podcast. And so if you're going to post content on YouTube, on Instagram or Facebook, just tag Stolen Bases Podcast. If you're a TikToker, we're on TikTok as well, but as individuals, the Stolen Base Podcast TikTok will be coming soon. We definitely got to get an account going. But for now, just tag me or Johnny. You can find me at Hey Coach Trey. You can probably see it on my T-shirt. Very easy. Hey Coach Trey. Tag me in it, or you could tag Johnny. Where can they tag you on TikTok?
On TikTok, you find me at still STILL underscore chill CHILL underscore Leroy. Still chill Leroy. Still underscore chill underscore Leroy on TikTok.
There you go. There you go. So you can
And on
find either one of
Instagram. You
us.
can find me on Instagram the same way.
Instagram as well. Yeah. So make sure that you do that. Tag us in it so that we can see it, and so that we can put your name literally in the hat, and so
Yeah.
you'll be
Pun
eligible to
intended.
receive. Pun intended, and we get the hat out to you soon. But like you said, if y'all don't do this,
If
you
y'all
gonna see
see me
Johnny
on the
rocking that,
episode rocking that hat, it's because y'all didn't do your job.
right?
That's it.
So get in on it. Get in on it. That's for sure, man. But yeah, man. So I want to switch gears, man. Since we're being a little bit nostalgic, and just a couple things that I witnessed while being here in the DC area this week. Just brought back so many memories of being a young baseball player, and just the childhood, having that childhood awe of the game of baseball. By the time that this episode airs, we will be uh probably in the same week as what we call the Midsummer Classic, also known as the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Just that name, Midsummer Classic, man, just does something to me.
Man, that's a nostalgic, just 3 words of a nostalgia. Midsummer
Yeah,
Classic. Like I don't know, man. That's just a dope title, man. Like you can name anything Midsummer Classic, and it's gonna seem like, oh, I want to go there.
yeah,
It could
yeah.
be a dinner, Midsummer Classic dinner. Oh, I want to
Right.
go there.
I want to
Midsummer
go.
Classic play. Oh, I want to go there.
Yeah, it sounds like something that you definitely want to be a part of, man. And the All-Star Game is just one of those things, man, that just is a part of our childhood. Our adulthood is just a part of our fandom of baseball. It's
Hmm.
something that we look forward to. I remember going to baseball games before the All-Star Game, and the ushers would hand out ballots, like
Hmm.
literally
Yeah.
paper ballots, and they had to poke
The
holes
punch.
in the player.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to punch holes. So you had the hanging chads. So
Yeah.
you had to punch holes and turn them back in, and that's how you voted. Now
Hmm.
everything is online, or you scan a code on your phone or whatever. But that did something to me because I wanted to see my favorite players in that lineup. When they come out for the national anthem, and you see all the players lined along, the first and third base lines. I wanted to make sure that my favorite players were there. I wanted to make sure that on the National League side, there were a lot of Giants there. On the
Hmm.
American League side, there were a lot of A's there. And so I was making sure some years I would just select only the A's players in the American League and only the
Right.
Giants players in the National League.
Yeah.
But then, as I started developing love for other players, yeah, I'm going to select the Cal Ripken here. I'm going to select the Ken Griffey Jr. here. And so that was just, it was just a part of, the love for baseball. And then, you know, the days leading up to the All-Star game. So, in the middle of the week, Major League Baseball had the All-Star break, where there were no games. So you knew the All-Star game was now taking center stage.
Hmm.
And I remember being excited about the All-Star game before before there was a home run derby.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there was just the game,
Hmm.
and just seeing some of my favorite players lined up ready to play, man, and it just brought so much excitement. And then they brought in the home run derby, and that was like the night before, that
Hmm.
took the stage, man. And so just things like that. But for you, man, when you think about the All-Star game, who is that first black All-Star that you remember watching?
Ooh. Um. First black All Star. If I could think, oh man. I mean, I was watching baseball as a kid a long
Yeah.
time, but I think the first black All Star that I remember paying attention to is probably why I started watching him was Ozzie
Mhm.
Smith.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
Ozzie Smith was
Perennial
a
All-Star.
perennial All Star at shortstop. Man, when he was
Yeah.
in the league, he was almost every year. Well, probably about 7 or 8 years consistently, he was an All Star at shortstop, a
Mhm.
starter. The starting
Yeah.
shortstop. And so
The
I think
wizard.
he, yeah, because like you never. First of all, the All Star is one game in the middle of the summer with the
Hmm.
best baseball players on the planet playing it.
Yeah.
And you got to when you didn't get to see all these other teams, we got to see the A's and the Giants in the Bay Area, but we didn't get to see everybody else
Yeah.
unless the Giants or the A's played them.
Hmm.
And then even when they did, we didn't get to see all of those games and all of those moments. Sports
Hmm.
Center wasn't as big as it is now. We didn't have the
Yeah.
internet and none of this stuff, so we didn't get to. If we didn't view it with our own eyes while it was happening, we probably just didn't see it. you
Right.
know. And then we get to the point where, uh, uh, Ozzie Smith starts making all-star appearances, and you're in this single game in the middle of the summer, and you got this one guy that's in out of the league, one person that's doing these
Hmm.
magic tricks as he's running out on the field. I'm talking about
Yes.
leaping, jumping, flipping, back
Backflip.
flipping in the
Yeah.
middle of the game, he back doing a black. He just standing there, just do a backflip, like
Hmm.
in between pitches,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I mean, that's what that drew me to the All-Star game, because I
Yeah.
knew Ozzie Smith was going to do something special. I didn't get to see the
Hmm.
Cardinals, growing up,
Right. Right.
I didn't get to see them,
Yeah.
but I saw Ozzie Smith on the All-Star game. So I
Hmm.
do. That's an interesting question, because it took me a minute to think about it, but he was a reason I was tuning in for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. If for me, man, like I'm thinking of like some all-star games, like in the early '80s, and like you said, the all-star game gave you an opportunity to see players that you normally wouldn't see, and
Hmm.
so I'm like, oh, he's an all-star. I'd never heard of him, but now when I see him, I recognize him, and so
Hmm.
I remember my earliest, man, the all-star that an all-star that I remember, and I believe it was like the first black all-star that I like, oh, it's a black guy in the all-star. Even though, in the '80s there were many of them, but for some
Hmm.
reason this guy just caught my eye because it was the first time I saw him. And
Hmm.
he's not super well known, but he had a long career, a great career. He was very, very consistent. It was Al Oliver, and at the time he played for the Montreal Expos.
Hmm.
Al
Hmm.
Oliver, I believe he
Forgot
played
about Al.
first base,
Yeah.
and in that All Star game was actually, and he after he played for the Orioles, I remember he played for the Seattle Mariners after that, and so now he's playing for against one of the A's division rivals. So I'm seeing him, more regularly, because there wasn't no interleague back then. So the A's and the Mariners played, probably like, 8 times. They
Yeah.
had 8 different series, for each year. So you saw the A's versus the Mariners
Wow.
constantly throughout the years. And I remember seeing Al Oliver and how consistent he was. He wasn't, he hit a home run every now and then, but he was just consistent when it comes to, he gonna get you a good base hit. He gonna get you a good, he gonna bring in a run with a, a double in the right field gap, every now and then. But it was first seeing him in an All Star game that I end up following his career. So I remember him, playing for the Expos. I remember him playing for the Mariners. And it just made me, just follow his career and kind of look up to him a bit, like we talked about earlier. It made me, see myself in him.
Yeah.
Oh, here's someone else playing the game that I can see myself. Yeah, I idolize other players, like Ricky Henderson, Dave Stewart, and guys like that. But when every time I saw Al Oliver, he was like one of the OGs, for me,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
Ricky Henderson was in the prime of his career, and at this time, Al Oliver was on the back end of his career, so he was on his way out. And so I looked at Al Oliver as one of those OGs, man. So shout out to Al Oliver,
Yeah.
man. That was definitely someone I looked up to.
Yeah, I remember Al Oliver, man, and I don't remember him as vividly as you did. With
Hmm.
you watching the A's and the A's being an American League team, and me being
Yeah,
a fan of the Giants being a National League team. Again, I'm seeing more National League players than I'm seeing American League players at that time, because
right.
I'm watching National League based games.
Exactly.
Another person though too that just stuck out to me, that I do recall, you know, seeing in an All-Star game, that made me like pay attention to him
Hmm.
after the All-Star game, was Andre Dawson. Andre
Oh
Dawson was
yes,
such a big, I mean,
yes,
humongous dude at the plate. He looked like a big lumberjack at the plate.
right.
And he had that sock when they wore their solid color top with the pinstripe pants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man, and his home runs used to just be towering home runs.
Yeah.
Like I do recall, like every time, like you said before, I think you said, you know, we were talking on last episode how every time Jose Canseco stepped to the plate, you were tuning in, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
how it was. Whenever I saw Andre Dawson, I'm like, oh, I want to
Same.
see this at bat. I want to see this at
Yeah.
bat. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he was another one that
Yeah, he
uh,
was definitely one of those dudes. Definitely for me as well. Could hit for power. Hit for
mhm,
average as well. Man, Andre Dawson. He really doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Man, I believe
mhm.
I may be wrong. So someone out there correct me. But I believe he had a MVP year as well.
I think so.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, Andre Dawson, it was he was that dude, man. But I think because we're definitely surpassing an hour already, so we don't want to have this episode go too long. So we're gonna make a part two. Just talking about all-stars, black all-stars and things like that. But
Yeah.
we can't get out of here, as we head into the seventh inning stretch. We cannot get out of here without when we talk about all-stars, about our most memorable experience. I don't know about you. I never had the pleasure of going to an all-star game and seeing an
Mhm.
all-star game in person, but growing up, I watched every All-Star game. Yeah, as an adult, I may have missed a few, here and there, as life happens. But as a kid, man, growing up, and even in my early 20s, oh, I'm locked in every mid July, when watching the All-Star game. And so there are
Mhm.
so many great memories that I'm sure we both have. But what's that one memory of All-Star games past that sticks out to you?
Man, right away, the soon as I think about All-Star games and I start thinking about the nostalgia of the games that I've seen, the first thing that comes to mind is Torrey Hunter jumping
Yeah.
over the center field fence, robbing Barry Bonds' home run in the All-Star game. And the reaction after that between Bonds and Torrey Hunter, man, that I'll never forget that. Man, I was super excited when Bonds hit it. I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
then
you
when
knew it
Torrey
was
Hunter
gone.
caught it, I knew it's out of here. This a home
Yeah,
run. It was a home run. Torrey Hunter had to dang near climb the fence
yeah,
and extend and back over the fence like
yeah.
this to rob that home run. But he did it. Almost broke his back trying to rob that home run, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he did it. And so then it was like the excitement of the hit, then the excitement
Yeah,
of the catch. And then
yeah,
like, I think that was like the third out. So right away they're coming back into the dugout and Bonds meets him and
yeah,
picks him up on his shoulder sort of thing. And man,
yeah.
the nostalgia of that, like I love that moment, man. I love that moment.
Me too, man. I loved it for so many reasons because for one, Torrey Hunter at that time, was the young up and coming kid, with the Minnesota Twins, and Barry Bonds is Barry Bonds.
Yeah,
So, but
everybody.
and so you saw two things. You saw the threat that Barry Bonds was at the plate. I don't even
Mhm.
remember who was pitching because that moment you just totally forgot about who was pitching. But
Yeah.
whoever was pitching, they were a dominant pitcher. They were an all
They were
star.
all-star pitchers, so it was a
Yeah,
top pitcher for sure.
exactly. And of course this was
Probably like
early in the
Randy
game.
Johnson or
It
Roger
it
Clemens
had to
or
be, yeah,
Andy
because
Pettit, one of them kind of guys.
yeah, absolutely. And this was early in the game because Barry Bonds was a starter. Torrey Hunter was a starter. So this was early in the game. So this wasn't like somebody who made the reserve team.
No,
This was a top pick for the All Star
absolutely.
team. But yet here
Absolutely.
Barry Bonds hitting a bomb straight away center off of that pitcher. So you saw Bonds' power on display and what he could do at the plate and why he was so feared at the plate. But then you saw the athletic prowess of a young Torrey Hunter. Like Torrey Hunter had did that so many times before that moment in games with the Twins. You know, I remember seeing Torrey Hunter run down balls that should have been doubles or triples in the gap. But he had so much speed that he ran them down. I saw him, you know, rob people of home runs several times. So he was known for this, but to do that on the world's biggest stage, you know, against the world's best player.
Best hitter. Yes. Man.
You know, that was amazing. And, you know, to see, you know, after he made that catch, you know, Torrey Hunter with this big grin on his face, and Bonds go out to center field to meet him and lift him up over his shoulder. It did one thing for me. It showed brotherhood on display. Yeah, like, man, we may play on different teams. We play in different leagues. I'm National League, you're American League, but we're also, you know, when it comes down to it, there's a kinship here. There's a brotherhood here. And so you saw that on display because, you know, Barry probably said something as he picked him up. Probably said something in his ear, like that big brother type of thing. Man, you know, you should have robbed it. You should have let me have that. You know, something like that. Yeah. You know, really grilling the kid. You know, stuff like that. But it was just beautiful to see, man. And so that's definitely one of my top baseball all-star moments as well. I think. I know
you
have.
I know you, man. You've seen a lot of all-star games, so I know you got a moment.
I've seen a lot.
So, what's your moment?
I actually have two, and one isn't actually in the game. Another Barry Bonds moment, actually. But that home run derby with Bonds and McGuire in Philadelphia, I believe. I can't remember the year. But it was, I think it was shortly after Barry became a San Francisco Giant. So it had been maybe like 96, 97, but it was a Philadelphia All-Star game. And the finals came down to Barry Bonds versus Mark McGuire. First, Bay Area. You know,
Giants and A's, man. Oh my God.
So for that reason alone,
we got the power.
Hey, we got the power. Man, it don't matter who win. The Bay Area wins. Stand up to the Bay.
We was happy. That's the final. We won.
We won.
It don't even matter who. It don't matter who wins it. We won.
Exactly, man. So, and then they had to go in. They had to go into like I guess home run derby overtime, a hit off. Because they kept going tit for tat. They kept, none of them was letting up. And I know they were gassed. It was middle of summer. This is when the home run derby was in the daytime, like a 1:00 start. Yeah. So it's hot out there. They sweating. They bringing out Gatorade for them so they get rehydrated, man. And so they just battle it, man. It was like neither one was letting up. You hit a dong, I'm hitting one. You hitting two, I'm hitting two. And so they went at it, man, for the longest. And then finally they went sudden death. And when Bonds hit that winning home run, and when he swung at the crack of the bat, he knew that was it. And the way he just dropped his bat, it's over. Like, that was the dopest thing to me, to see Bonds hit that dong and just drop that bat like, it's done.
Finally,
done.
Over.
He didn't do the Vince Carter thing where it's over.
Yeah.
But just by dropping the bat is the same thing as it's over. Man, that was so
what he
dope.
did. That was dope, man. That was an iconic moment, because the history, and that's why when we talked about, Barry Bonds being, even in Mark McGuire's case, in the Hall of Fame, there's so many moments that, like, if you eliminate them, you can't talk about the home run derby that year.
Absolutely.
And not with
Absolutely.
any kind of glorification to it, because you're not acknowledging them as great. But man, that was that was probably the greatest home run derby ever, because of how
in my eyes it was. Yeah, in my eyes that was the greatest. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the two people that were in it. And the fact that they were crosstown rivals in two different leagues,
right?
But in the same location in the Bay Area, man.
Right.
And the conversation that could have been around, what they was doing or not doing, but at the end of the day, we see who's still standing no matter what.
Yeah.
That's
For
dope, man.
anyone who's not like a baseball historian or just nostalgist like I am, or maybe just not a big baseball fan, maybe basketball is your thing. You could compare that baseball home run derby
I already
with
know where you're
Bonds
going.
versus McGuire equates to the slam dunk contest with Jordan and Dominique Wilkins.
Dominique, I already knew where you was going.
You knew where I was
Exactly.
going.
I knew exactly where you was going. That's
It
exactly
was
where.
on that level.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Facts.
if you don't understand the magnitude of Bonds versus McGuire in the home run derby, just go to Jordan versus Dominique in the slam dunk contest. Same
Fact.
level.
Exactly.
Same level. So
Exactly.
that one is probably one of my top moments. I got two more real quick because they just came to mind. Randy Johnson, when he threw that ball at John Kruk's head, 100 miles per hour straight to the head, first pitch.
Yeah.
He was leading off, and he threw that thing at his head, and John Kruk backed out. He's like, "Y'all better get somebody else up here. I'm not facing this dude."
Are you serious? You serious
Like,
now?
this is supposed to be an exhibition.
Yeah, he
I'm
won't
thinking about that Martin episode. We ain't fighting for
When he
real.
was
This
fighting,
fighting
Tommy
Tommy
Hearns.
Hitman. This ain't supposed to be. This is a charity event.
For real, man. That's funny, bro.
Man, but I could tell, that's what John Kruk was thinking, man. This is supposed to be for fun, man. And you going at my head at over 100 miles an hour, man. You 6'7", you look like you 8 feet tall on this mound.
Man, yeah. Come on,
so that
man.
one, that one was just one of those entertainment moments, and it really set the tone for the game. Like Randy Johnson looked like, this is a game, and I ain't out here for fun. Like, we want to win this thing,
Yep.
And I think that was actually, it might have been one of the first years where they started. The winner of the All-Star game got home field in the playoffs. So if American League won the All-Star game, whoever is the American League champion got home field in the World Series. So
and that might have been probably the same year the Diamondbacks went to the World Series. Because Randy was like, "Oh, we getting ready to have home field advantage. I'm getting in y'all head from first pitch. I'm coming at your head first pitch."
Exactly, man. So that's one of those memorable moments. And just lastly, one last one was the moment where they had the All-Star game at Fenway Park, and they brought out Ted Williams. They brought him out. This was, close to the end of his life. So, he couldn't, stand for long, couldn't walk. So they brought him out in a golf cart, and to see players from both sides, like they didn't just stand at the edge of the dugout clapping, like they all came out and surrounded Ted Williams. Like this was the god of baseball, and in many cases he was, because he was such a great hitter, not a home run hitter, but a great hitter. One of the few guys who consistently batted over 300, and almost had a season where he batted 400. So I remember as a kid going to the library and checking out his book, The Art of Hitting by Ted Williams. And I read that book like it was a Bible. And so to see all these players, multimillionaires in their own right, all-stars, they're all all-stars, but they were like children sitting at the feet of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And they just let them have that moment, and you could see Ted was saying something to the players, and all of them were leaning in and listening to what he had to say. I wish they had a microphone or a camera that was in that circle, because I would love to have known what Ted was telling those players. But you could tell, like, he was instilling some knowledge and some wisdom. This wasn't just like, oh, thank you for this honor. He was talking to them like a grandfather of the game. And players were kneeling down, leaning in so that they can hear that. Man, that was such a beautiful, beautiful moment to see, because, a lot of these, these players didn't grow up watching Ted Williams. Ted Williams'
Mhm.
career ended well before they probably picked up their first bat, but they
Mhm.
know of him. They know this the legacy. They know the history, and they know how amazing of a hitter that he was. And just to take that moment to lean in, I think of it the same way. I had the privilege to meet Willie Mays once at
Mhm.
a banquet, a baseball banquet in the Bay Area, and
Yeah.
and he was the keynote speaker, and he came around to every table of all the players and just introduced himself. No, we're not really introduced because everybody knows Willie,
Yeah. Yeah.
but just to say hello or whatever. Back then, we didn't have phones on our cameras. We didn't have phones, that we could
Right.
carry around. So I wish I would have had a chance to snap a picture. But what was more valuable than a picture was the fact that when he came to my table, he came and sat down.
Mm.
He sat down and had, it wasn't a long conversation, but a good 2-3 minute conversation with
Mhm.
one of the GOATs. Willie Say Hey Kid Mays is
Yeah.
sitting and
That's
having eye contact conversation with me. And I was
right.
such in awe. And he just started talking to me, man, and just started sharing knowledge, not how to play the game, but how to navigate through life through the game of baseball. He said, man, he was just telling me, you're a young brother playing this game, so they're going to hold you to a different. I'll never forget his words, man. It almost makes me emotional. I'll
Mhm.
never forget his words. He was just like, man, you're a young brother playing this game. He said, what are you? It's like he could look at you and tell what type of player that you were. What are you, a lefty? I said, yes, sir,
Yeah.
I am. He said, oh yeah, you're a lefty. Yeah, they gonna be they gonna be looking at you. So
Mhm.
you got to bring your best every single day. You got to keep showing up. And he was just saying things like that. And he said, "What do you play? First base and center field?" I was like, "This man is truly a god." He was reading
Yeah.
my eyes, and reading my mind. I said, "Yes, sir. I play both." He said, "Well, I play center field." I said, "Yes, sir. I know too well." He said,
Mhm.
"Well, when you're out there, you got to stay locked in." He didn't use the term locked in, but he's
Yeah.
basically just saying, you got to stay focused. But every word that he was saying, it was almost like holy baseball
Oh,
scripture.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I will never forget that. So for me,
Mhm.
being a young player having that moment with a grandfather of the game, for them, these future Hall of Famers in their own right, to have that moment with Ted Williams, I can only imagine what that was like. So, you know, all the moments that we mentioned was just
Probably
so
like a passing
so
of the
dope.
torch, like
Yes.
while they were leaning down, he was passing on the torch of knowledge, the passing on the torch of legacy, passing on the torch of leadership. Like, he knows that he's at the end of his years
Mm-hmm.
on the planet at that point, and he's like, before I leave here, I want to make sure that these young men understand
Absolutely.
what needs to be carried forward.
Mm-hmm.
That was an iconic moment. I do remember that moment. Like I said,
Yeah.
I was also tuning in to that game and seeing, like, man, they're soaking up some kind of game. I don't know
So
what he's
yeah, they
telling
soaking
them,
up a
but
lot of game,
they
right?
are they weren't just there to say hi and walk back to the dugout.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, they, like you said, they made a campfire around him, man.
Exactly. Exactly, man.
Got
Oh
comfortable.
man. All right, man. So you ready for your last cut?
Yeah, let's go, man. Shoot.
Let's go. All
How
right,
many pitches
last.
I got?
Hey,
How
you
many
got
pitches
you got one swing. This your last cut. Hit or miss.
I'm hitting it out the dirt, man. Throw it right down the
So here
middle.
we
Come on,
go.
man. That's my last pitch, man. Give me a good
All right,
pitch.
I'm gonna serve you up a good one. I'm gonna serve you up a good one. Here we go. So here's your question, man. All right. So you're putting together the ultimate black baseball starting lineup. So
Mhm.
that's a challenge in itself. You're
Yeah,
putting
yeah.
together the ultimate black baseball starting lineup, but you can only pick one player to build your team around. Who are you taking and why?
So basically, who's my first pick? Who's you got?
Who?
We about
Yeah.
to have a draft, and who is your first pick? In
Who is
other
that one
words,
player that you could build the team around? Like this is the foundation of my team. Now I'm going to build around this player. Who is that one black player that you would pick to build your team around?
that's tough in baseball. That's an easier question for basketball or
Yeah,
maybe even
yeah,
football.
yeah.
But that's tough in basketball because football you could just name a quarterback and be like, yeah, I'm gonna start right there.
Right.
Basketball, you just a a really good player that could do a bunch of stuff, a Kobe or a Shaq or
Yeah.
LeBron or whatever, Jordan.
Hmm.
Um, that's tough in baseball because you need so many things to
Hmm.
be successful.
Yeah.
Um, there's so many different positions that are critical. Um, they got to be white or black. They got to be black.
Yeah. We going black. We going black. This
All
stolen
right,
base.
facts. I just wanted to clarify that. All right, so if man, that's a tough one because the easy choice would be to just say Barry Bonds. That would be
Uh-huh.
the easy choice.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say if I was to pick a player to start, probably this is one where I would probably go with Ken Griffey Jr.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Um, because I know that I'm gonna get some really good defense and some really good offense. I
Mm-hmm.
know that I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
get some stolen bases. I know that I'm gonna
Yeah.
get some leadership, and I know he gonna sell some tickets.
Yeah. Oh, you gonna sell some
uh,
tickets.
so I'm trying to think about from that perspective. I know that other players will want to play with him.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, if I had to start a team, I would probably start with Ken Griffey Jr. as the first. Um, and I'd be mad if it was me picking against somebody else. I'd be mad if I picked Ken Griffey Jr. If me and you was doing it, and then you picked Bonds, I'd be like, dang, because I'll just be hoping. Then my second pick is Bonds,
Right.
but Bonds
Right.
really is my first pick. But you know, yeah, I need somebody that could do a little bit more defensively than Bonds. So
I feel
that's
you.
why I would
I
pick
feel you,
Griffey.
man. Yeah, and ain't nothing wrong with that pick. I like that pick. So for me, I thought about this, and of course, the easy answer would be Bonds because of course, if you've been listening to the Stolen Bases podcast, you know that in both of our eyes, Bonds is the GOAT. But when I look at building a team around somebody, it may not be the superstar sometimes. Maybe it's that guy who is just a good leader in whether it's in baseball in the dugout or the clubhouse,
Mhm.
locker room, whatever. It may be somebody who displays some good leadership. It may be like in basketball somebody who could really facilitate the game. So you may go with a point guard, who could really facilitate and things like that. But for me, if I want to build a team that's going to win championships, and just like in football, they say defense wins championships. Well, in baseball, pitching wins championships.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I started thinking about pitchers because I would definitely, when it comes to black baseball players, yeah, I know at every other position on the field, from infield, outfield, and catcher, I'm gonna find me a black player who gonna bring it, who gonna
Hmm.
go 3 for 4, who gonna give me 30 home runs a season, 100 RBI. I could name somebody from every position.
Position, yeah,
So, but I'm gonna need pitching. Like we can score all these runs, but we're gonna need somebody to strike some folks out.
facts.
And so I decided that I'm gonna go with the one and only Smoke Dave Stewart.
Dang. Dave Stewart, man. I thought that's where when you start talking about pitchers, I was like, he probably finna go with Dave Stewart. But man, that's such a good choice because you right. You have to have a starting pitcher that's dominant. You have to have a
Hmm.
starting pitcher that's fearless, or no matter who the other team has, they're
Hmm.
gonna get rocked anyway. They're going,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, you do have to start with a nucleus. It's kind of like when we talked about football. You're going to start with a quarterback usually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, I'm the type of person in a fantasy football draft. I'm
Mm-hmm.
waiting to the second round to get my quarterback, and then I'm mad
Yeah.
because all the good quarterbacks is gone.
Right.
But I got T.O. on my team, or I
Yeah.
got Adrian Peterson on my squad, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would go with Days because like you said, as dominating he was, especially during those years during that championship, run with the A's, as dominating of a pitcher with him, like consecutive seasons of being a 20 plus, not just a 20 game winner, 20 plus game winner.
Hmm.
Like we don't
Consistently, yeah.
see 20 game winners nowadays.
No.
And he did it for multiple seasons, man. He was so dominant on the mound, intimidating with that hat pulled down and that stare.
Man, his hat used to be like way down here.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could just see these eyes just piercing through your soul as you
Hmm.
stepped into that batter's box.
Just
And
straight
then now
face,
he's
too. He never smiled on the mound, man.
never
Never
smile.
smiled.
Never smile. I don't care if the A's were up 11-0. Stu ain't smiling.
Hmm.
And then he bringing that gas, just straight
Oh,
smoke.
yep.
Man, so yeah,
Dave Stewart he was different, man. He definitely,
he was
you
different.
know, I mean, and just in skin tone, complexion, one of the literally the darkest people on
Yeah,
the field, like
yeah,
the darkest person on the field every time he
mm-hmm.
stepped out there and was just
Absolutely,
gassing people, bro.
yeah. And the fact that he,
Not that his skin color
born and
had anything
raised.
to do with it. It
No,
just,
but again, we saw us.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, just that connection of being born and raised right there in Oakland and doing
Hmm.
this type of dominance in Oakland,
Yeah.
at a time where, there was, a lot of, black kids in the stands watching them do this in
Hmm.
East Oakland of all
That's it.
places.
That's it.
That Dave Stewart, just really, impacted, a lot of, especially as young black kids from the Bay Area, impacted us in ways we couldn't imagine because we saw Ricky on the bases. We had guys like Kevin Mitchell across the bay, hitting bombs and stuff like that. But we saw ourselves differently in days too. Like, okay, we can also pitch. It's kind of like in
Yeah.
football where until you start seeing this influx of black quarterbacks,
That
like
part.
when Dave Stewart was, you knew when Dave Stewart was starting on the mound that day
Hmm.
because it was must see TV in the black culture.
Hmm.
Like, oh, it's Dave Stewart's time to pitch, because
Yeah.
it wasn't many of us on the mound at that time. And so we
Yeah.
saw ourselves having the ability. Same thing with Dwight Gooden. I could say the same
Mhm.
thing for him.
Dwight
We knew
Gooden,
when
yeah.
Dwight Gooden was going to be stepping on the mound for the Mets. We
Yeah.
had to watch because it was very rare opportunities for us to see ourselves on the mound.
Hmm. It's like
Yeah.
you're right. I'm glad you said that about football. It relates to he was like our black quarterback. We didn't have many black
Mm-hmm.
quarterbacks at all. Maybe Randall Cunningham, Warren Moon back then.
Yeah, we had a few.
But there were few and far between, and they were
Mm-hmm.
like, let's see what they can do. Not like he's dominant. And Dave Stewart was one of few dominant black pitchers at the time. Like
Right.
you mentioned two of them, and there's probably not too many more at that time that was that good.
Yeah.
Dave Stewart and Doc Gooden, man. Dave Stewart was to win 20 plus games consecutive seasons nowadays in today's major leagues. If you win 20 plus games in one season, they want to
One
put you in the
season.
Hall of Fame.
Right. Just
It's
do it
like
once. Yeah.
you're a Hall of Famer. Like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But what these guys was doing it every year, bro.
Every
Every
year.
year, 19, 20 wins, 18 wins, stuff like that. Consistent.
Yes. Absolutely.
They're only getting 26 times the pitch,
Yep.
26 starts. You know what I'm saying? And he winning
Yeah.
20 of them. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
man. Yeah. So, man, shout out to Smoke Dave Stewart, man. Definitely one of the goats for me personally.
Yeah.
For so many reasons. Man, this has been this episode was
It's all
nostalgic. Man, it was just so good, man, to just talk about some of these memories, that just brought back some of these all-star memories and just to talk about the hope of
Yeah.
black baseball as well. So, man, thank you, man, for just being down, for us to continue to do this, man. It's only gonna go up from here, my brother.
I love it, man. I mean, I gotta find a different word than I love it, but I really do. That's genuine when you hear it from me. It's not just cliche, because this experience, one, having it with you, brother, and being able to talk about something we both are passionate about and love and
Indeed.
knowledgeable about, and be relevant to
Yeah.
both historical documentation and current representation. Man, I just can't wait to see how far we can just continue to grow from here. Y'all come on, join the squad, join the conversation. Come
Yes,
on,
indeed.
like, subscribe, share, download. We got a giveaway popping. We got 2 Baltimore Orioles caps. Coach Trey finna show them right now. Look,
Yes,
that
sir.
one on the left, if y'all don't do your job, you're gonna see me rocking it. We want to give
Right.
these away. It's a giveaway. These are dope, high quality caps. If you're an Orioles fan, for sure. But if you just like black and orange and white, or
Yeah.
if you just want a free cap, if you just want to see if you can win some, if you want to see if we, men of our word, come on,
Yeah.
like,
Come on.
subscribe, share,
Come
comment,
through.
post, hashtag Stolen Bases Podcast. You can find Coach Trey at Hey Coach Trey on TikTok. You can find me at still_chill_Leroy on TikTok and Instagram. Come on, man, run it, let's go.
Yeah. These ain't no cheap cats. You see that new era on there? These real
Yeah.
deals.
Oh, you gonna pay, at least 30 for them caps on any websites or in the store.
Bruh.
So,
They
you
they
know,
they left a price tag on these. $45 each.
Pap, what? So they're not cheap. The cheap
Right.
caps is in the 20s and the 15s and 25,
Yeah.
45, high quality.
High
Thank you,
quality, man.
Baltimore Orioles. Come on, y'all tap into this giveaway
Yes.
now. That's dope,
Speaking
Coach
of
Trey.
which, before we get out of here, because we didn't do this at the top of the show, so we're gonna do this real quick. We go super fast, but we got to represent the hats that we wear.
Oh yeah.
We both got hat collections, and may not be extensive. We ain't gonna wear a different hat every single episode. You gonna see the same hat from time to time again, but every now and then we gonna pull out a new one on y'all. So I see you with that
For
CU.
sure.
What's that about, bro?
For sure, man. This CU represents, y'all know it's Colorado University, Colorado Buffaloes, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, man. I'm not necessarily a Colorado Buffaloes fan, but I was a fan of Coach Prime. So when he went to Colorado and he's coaching both of his sons and with his
Yes,
other
sir.
son on the sideline doing the media thing, I loved all of that. He came from Jackson State at HBCU, so I followed that story. I was in love with
Yeah.
that story. And then just the fact that he was winning, he was turning a program around, he was doing something historic, he was doing something that hadn't been done in a long time. That is another reason. And then I will say this: I love the father and son situation. This, to me,
Absolutely.
this represents, that bond between a father and his sons, the love for his sons, the passion to raise your sons in excellence, and black men. It ain't just Shador and Shiloh
Yeah.
and Deion Jr. It's other black men that he brought to that program that he's also
Yeah.
leading. Travis Hunter
Absolutely.
was one of them.
Yep.
And so this represents all of that to me. It has a couple other, sidebar meanings too. It's black and gold, and my fraternity is Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, so it's black and old gold. So that's part of it. And then the
Yes,
last
sir.
thing is Rashawn Salam. Rashawn Salam, before Travis
Yeah.
Hunter, was the first Heisman Trophy winner in Colorado's history, and we
Yes.
went to school, graduated with Sean Salam's cousin, Jason Shelley.
Yeah.
And so all of that is represented to me in this cap, man.
Absolutely, man. And I'm so glad you mentioned Rashawn Salam, because with him, being related to the Shelley family, we grew up with the Shelley family. We're classmates with Jason Shelley. Shout out to you, Jay, if you happen to see
Shout out,
this.
Big
We
J.
love you, bruh.
Yes, sir.
It had made such an impact on sports in sports, in our local city of Vallejo, California. Definitely a legend. Went on to go to the University of Washington, played with the Dallas Cowboys, was amazing arena football player. But let's not forget, He was also drafted by the Atlanta Braves, a
That
great
part.
baseball player. So shout out to you, Jay. The invitation is always open to you to be on the Stolen Bases podcast. I know you got some
Absolutely.
experiences and some stories that you could share with our audience. But yeah, their cousin Rashawn Salam, man, was amazing. So sad that his life was cut short.
Yeah.
But definitely a Colorado Buffaloes legend, man. And so, still to this day, my heart goes out to his family, especially
Mhm.
those that we know personally. Shout out to the entire
The
Shelley
entire
family,
Shelly
from
clan, bro.
Jason, my girl Shannon Shelley, the whole family, which that legacy continues. We
We
may
got
even have to do a episode just talking about the
just
Shelley
on the
family. For
Shelly
those
family.
of you who don't know, from Vallejo, California, this is
Bro.
a sports, I mean, something in their DNA.
It is
Man, oh
in their
man.
blood. It's in their DNA. From the oldest girl to the youngest
Yes.
girl. It is.
Yes.
I mean, and boys in between. They've been in the NFL, in baseball, in all kinds of
NBA.
NBA, college. I mean, and their sons and their nieces and nephews are still
Yes.
doing it right now. Jason's
Mm-hmm.
son just signed. He had a monster year at Loyola Marymount in basketball
Yeah.
last year. And now he's on Texas A&M this year. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Theo Weiss is a football NFL wide receiver for the
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins. That's his older sister's son. Like,
Yeah.
bruh, they got. I mean, it's just in their DNA, bro.
It is.
Jason was
It
a
is, bro. Mm-hmm.
four sport letterman in high school: track,
Yeah.
football, baseball, basketball, and
Mm-hmm.
got drafted, like you said, to the Atlanta Braves. Was recruited in football. He was the number one athlete in the country in our high
Yes.
school in 1992. The number one football athlete in the country. Every Notre Dame, Miami, you name the top schools, they was wanting Jason Shelley to play for them. Like, that's how
Absolutely.
good his bloodline is. His older brother, Stephen Shelley, who's rest in peace,
Rest in peace, Stephen.
is
Yeah.
was in the NFL.
Yeah.
Played in the NFL for some years. Man, just a very talented. And then Shannon's son. Shannon is married to Fred Coleman. Fred Coleman caught a touchdown pass from Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
their son is now playing for UCLA. He's a corner at
Mm-hmm. He's a corner at
UCLA's football
UCLA.
team. And
Yeah. Shout out to Chase.
don't be surprised in 2 years when you see their daughter Caden Coleman as a standout softball player,
That's
probably at
right.
UCLA.
Probably at UCLA, some top tier school for softball. You'll see
Mm-hmm.
her in the Women's College World Series. That's for
Bet that.
sure. And yeah, and to see what Chase is doing at UCLA, I had to shout him out because we share the same birthday. So shout out,
That's dope.
nephew. Do your thing at UCLA
dope.
this year. I'm gonna definitely be watching.
For sure. That's dope, man. Good luck to y'all this season, both of y'all. And every member of the Shelley family that's still playing, man, good luck to
Absolutely.
y'all upcoming season, y'all upcoming visit. We gotta have a Shelley show.
Yeah, we do.
We gotta
We
have a Shelley
truly
show,
do.
bro.
We definitely got to do that because their story and their legacy is so rich, and it goes beyond Vallejo. It goes
Mm-hmm.
well beyond Vallejo. So we definitely got to do that, man. And so, real quick for me, man, because I got to take off my ears to do this,
Yeah.
but because I am in the DMV and I went to the Orioles game, you see what I'm rocking.
Oh, that's fresh. That is
That O's,
dope, man.
man.
That's dope.
Yeah, man, I had to
That's
pick
dope.
this one up, man.
Yeah,
And
man, you got the black and orange. Man, it reminds me of, like, when you talk about the Bay Area, you got the black and orange like the Giants, but
yeah,
then it says the O's instead of
the
the
O's
A's.
instead of A's.
So,
Yeah.
man, that's dope. That's a dope combo.
Yeah, man. So I had to scoop this one up, man. Like you said, it has that connection to the Bay Area with the Giants and the A's. But also, it's just a fly cap, man. And, that's something, something about our culture, man. Sometimes we wear hats that we're not fans of the team, but it
Mhm.
just looked good with what we got on. It
Yeah.
just looked good. We just like the look of the cap. And so,
Mhm.
you'll see me rocking another team's cap, man. Lo and behold, I brought some caps with me, man. I
What's
rocked
up?
this one in the airport, and you know how we feel about this team.
Uh, man, that's a fresh cap, and you right.
Man,
Like, I
but
know it was
black,
hard to buy it.
it was hard, man. It was hard to
I
buy,
know it
but
was
man,
hard.
that black and white go hard when. I
It,
mean, hey, with what
it looks
I'm
good,
wearing
bro.
now, it look
Yeah.
good with it, man.
It does. It looks good.
Yeah,
Man,
man.
there's certain
So
hats, bro, that man, we could talk about caps all day, but there's certain caps that I
that's
love the
another thing
way
we
they
got to do an
look
episode on.
on caps,
Our
man.
favorite
Like
hats. Yeah.
that Dodger blue and that white looking so good, but I can't bring myself to
I
put it on
know.
my
It's
head.
such a
That
classic look.
Yankee
Yankee the
navy and
same
that
way.
white. I can't. Oh man, I just can't bring myself to put. But I can't bring myself to put it on my
I
head
know.
because of
I
the
know.
Yankees and the Dodgers. But now I got an excuse for the Yankees because of
Yeah.
CC. I got an
You got a
excuse.
CC.
So
Yeah.
y'all see me rocking the Yankees hat. No, I can't stand the Yankees, but
Me too.
the Vallejo played on that team. So
Yeah. The same here, man. I can't bring myself. Eventually, I will get a Yankees hat. I will get, the traditional blue and white Dodgers hat, but I just can't do it right now, man. It's rough. It's
can't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it.
Won't do it, right.
What do you say? Who was the coach who said that? Not Richard. I forgot who the coach for the 49ers. He was a coach for the 49ers at the time. He said, can't play with him. Can't win with him. Can't do it. Won't do it.
Yeah.
You're talking about Vernon Davis, I think. Mike Singletary. I think he's talking about Vernon Davis. Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about Vernon Davis, Mike Singletary.
Yeah, man. That's great. Can't do it.
Man, but man, this has been such a fun episode, man. And like I said, y'all, this is just part one. We're definitely going to do a part two of this where we just, dig deeper into just, the rich history with Black baseball and the All-Star game. We're actually going to we're going to go back in time and go back and talk about some of the All-Star legends from the 50s and 60s and the 70s and 80s on up to today's All-Star. So by the time that episode airs, the All-Star game will likely pass. So we could take a look at the Black players who were selected for the 22-26 All-Star game and just, take a look at where they are in their career, where they can possibly go and how we can show them love and support as Black Major League Baseball players. So I'm definitely looking forward to part two of this. But man, this has been an amazing episode, man. I know we went long again, but man, these conversations are just so organic and so rich, so if you're watching or listening, you may have to break this up into increments. Watch a little bit now, watch a little bit later, or while you're doing something around the house, just keep us going. But just make sure that you fully complete the episode, so that we get the credit for it. That looks good in the analytics. That's a big thing. That's a big thing nowadays, the analytics. So, but we appreciate you all,
and you're gonna enjoy it anyway. We have a great time all the way to the end. So
absolutely,
even at the very end, there's gonna be some for you. Even when we come off the screen. Mm-hmm. Stolen bases song finna come on. Let's go.
You already know. I was watching that last episode from my hotel room. I just cast it on the TV, and I just had to let that theme song play at the end.
Yeah, bro. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So look, this has been the Stolen Bases podcast, and this has been a pleasure to be with y'all. Thank you all again so much for tuning in. Make sure that you come back. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share, help us grow, man. Remember, when you like, subscribe, share, and you post about the Stolen Base podcast, you're going to be entered into a drawing to get one of these free Orioles caps. You may not be an Orioles fan, but you just may want to rock one of these dope caps, and so we want to be able to send it out to you and show your love and support of the Stolen Bases podcast, and we want to show some love and support to you as well. So with that said, you have been watching the Stolen Bases podcast, and we are out. Tell them where we from, Johnny.
Shout out to the baseball factory that is Vallejo, California. One love.
One love to the V. Peace.
Yeah. From the sandlots to the spotlight. From the Negro leagues to the big leagues. This ain't just baseball. It's history. It's culture. It's a stolen basis. Yeah. Safe at first. Safe at second. History sliding at third. Now we headed home. Safe at first. Safe at second. History sliding at third. Now we headed home. Back when the game said no, we built our own lane. Packed out the ballpark, sunshine and rain. Saturday doubleheaders, whole family deep. Legends in the making while the world was asleep. Businesses booming, owners making plays. Culture in the stands, everybody getting paid. Not just a game, it was pride on display. Every crack of the bat said, we gon' find a way. Now I'm looking at the diamond thinking where to go. Used to be the neighborhood, now the kids don't know. That's why we grab the mic and tell the stories untold. Cause the roots run deep and the history go. They stole the bases, but they couldn't steal the game. Couldn't steal the hustle, couldn't steal the name. From the dirt on our cleats to the stars in the sky. Black baseball legacy, never let it die. They stole the bases, but they couldn't steal the dream. Now we telling every story that they left unseen. Round the diamond, round the world, let the truth be known. Welcome to stolen bases, yeah, we bringing it home. Safe at first, safe at second. History slide in the third. Now we headed home. Yeah, safe at first, safe at second. History slide in the third. Now we headed home. Now the game's changed. Travel ball costs a grip. Some kids got the talent, but can't afford the trip. Fields in the suburbs, dreams on the shelf. Too many young stars gotta figure it out themselves. But I remember Griffey swinging smooth as jazz. Every kid in the neighborhood wanted that swag. From the backyard fences to the city park lights, we was calling our shots on those summer night flights. See, there's more than statistics, more than wins and losses, more than Hall of Fame speeches and championship bosses. It's about fathers and sons, coaches and friends, and the love for the game that never truly ends. So we dig through the archives, bring the truth to the mic, give flowers to the legends every time we recite. Cause the future gets stronger when it knows where it started. And black baseball story is far from departed. They stole the bases, but they couldn't steal the game. Couldn't steal the hustle, couldn't steal the name. From the dirt on our cleats to the stars in the sky. Black baseball legacy, never let it die. They stole the bases, but they couldn't steal the dream. Now we telling every story that they left unseen. Round the diamond, round the world, let the truth be known. Welcome to stolen bases, yeah, we bringing it home. Safe at first, safe at second. History slide in the third. Now we headed home. Safe at first, safe at second. History slide in the third. Now we headed home.